At a high level, our mission as a company is to eliminate crime. I'm an engineer. I took a look at this problem from an engineering perspective of why does crime exist? It exists because it's easy to get away with, right? Only 1 in 10 nonviolent crimes actually leads in an arrest. And that's what's reported. That doesn't take out all of the crime that might have happened to you that you never even called 911 because maybe you weren't going to file an insurance claim. And so,
well, and certainly in San Francisco, people have given up. They've been very explicit that they're no longer even calling it in.
Which is sad, in my opinion, because if you look at the primary research, and this is not Garrett's opinion or Flock's opinion, this is federally funded research on the topic, the only way to reduce crime is to solve more of it. If you increase the opportunity cost of being a criminal to a certain point where you know you're going to get arrested, you go get a real job. Like these people could go get real jobs, but they choose to be a criminal because they know they can get away with it. So our point of view out of the gate was, let's go build really cool technology that actually drives the likelihood of an arrest occurring. And in doing that, we believe long-term we'll see crime reductions. And that's what we're seeing today. So that was 4 years ago when we started the company. You fast forward to today, we typically serve 2 types of customers, municipalities, and then the constituents inside of those municipalities. And pretty cool stat for you. I was shocked when I heard this. 1 out of every 100 arrests that'll happen this year will be due to a Flock camera.
1 out of every 100 arrests in the United States will happen because of Flock camera. How many, just ballpark, cameras are out there? How many communities are covered if we were to think about a percentage of the United States or percentage of major cities? Give us an idea of what your footprint is today, 4 years into your company.
Yeah, so we're at almost about a 10% coverage of cities in the country. That's where the actual city is a customer. It ranges from smaller towns like a Danville or San Marino or La Habra to bigger cities like a Memphis, Tennessee, or Indianapolis or Fort Worth. And everyone in between.
Wow. So 10%. And you have put a price point on these that is extremely low. I was looking into these prior to you existing, and they were all custom solutions that would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to implement in a neighborhood. If a neighborhood was going to spend $500,000 on security guards and camera systems, you could essentially do a better job with your big data license plate recognition than those guards could for 10% of the price. How do you pitch it when you're talking to those local communities?
Yeah, so that was me. I was you, Jason, just a few years ago, and my neighborhood was a massive victim of crime. An organized gang came in, broke into every single car. It was a pretty terrible weekend. And when the police department showed up, they said, look, we don't have any evidence. You need a license plate reader. So we went to go procure them. $250,000 later, I was like, this doesn't compute. I have this $300, $400 device, an iPhone in my pocket. It's got an incredible camera. It's got an LTE modem. It's got a CPU that can do computer vision. Why does this camera cost $40,000? And so a buddy of mine and I put our heads together and said, great, well, I'm an electrical engineer. Let's go grab some of these old phones off of, the internet, tear them apart, put them in a waterproof box, put a solar panel on top, and lo and behold, with some good software and some good computer vision, you've built a license plate reader at a couple $100 BOM. And that really hasn't fundamentally changed. If you look at the product today, it's gotten a lot better. We're much smarter engineers than me working on it now, but it is still really, that's a year or two behind the best-in-class smartphone, and we can take off that supply chain, put it in our own custom package with a managed service behind it. And to your point, whether you live in a $100,000 home or a $10 million home, your community can afford this. And that's, I know you're a fan of Uber. I think that's something similar, which is like they made black service type cars affordable for everybody.
Literally,
and I think that's the goal of technology. And I think that's our same pitch.
Everybody's private driver was the original tagline. So you build this, people start going crazy for it. For people who don't know, BOM is build of materials. So essentially, you've taken a smartphone, put it in a box, it's got a solar panel. Obviously, it's not a smartphone, but is literally built off the components that are in there. So you literally can install this in 10 minutes at any home, anywhere that has, I'm assuming, a 4 or 5G connection, and it's $200 a month. Now, when I open up the interface, what do I see? And then, I guess, how specific can I get in tracking? So tell us what we see in the display when you open up this web-based tool. Because I've seen some screenshots of it on your website, but I couldn't find an actual demo of it on YouTube or anywhere?
Yeah. So there's really two primary use cases. There's a proactive kind of solution and then a reactive solution. So proactive is strictly for law enforcement. So the cameras are integrated into the FBI's national database of wanted vehicles. So that's about 250,000 cars that are stolen, outstanding warrants, amber alerts, silver alerts. Like if you're objectively a car that needs to be pulled over, we know. And so if you, Jason, put a camera in your front yard and a car drives by and it is on that list, within a few seconds, we've notified the nearest patrol vehicle. That to me is like, that's why I have one in my front yard. I have two kids in my house. I want to make sure that if a stolen car drives by, like they're not up to any good.
Let me make sure I understand this. Okay, so a stolen car goes by, my camera picks it up. Do I, as the homeowner who paid for this $2,500, get the alert as well? Or do you just do hey, this camera that we have on the network, and then you send it to the local authorities and you have their email address, or you do a phone, you mechanical Turk it? How do you actually get that information to the local community?
So for the 13 plus 100 cities where we contract with them, it goes directly into the patrol vehicle. So our software also runs in all the patrol vehicles. So if you lived in San Ramon and you steal a car and you drive by one of the hundreds of cameras we have in San Ramon, whether it's owned by an individual, a neighborhood, a small business owner, or the police department.
What does it show them? It just shows them that license plate, or does it actually give them a video clip with a GIF or something? Full
video, the license plate zoomed in. It's very important. You talk about some of the things that we take seriously. Like one is the objectivity and actionability of the product. And so we want to make sure that's human verified, because we think our ML is great, but it's not perfect. And so we pull up a nice zoomed in image and say, hey, we believe this is the state, this is the OCR, this is the exact license plate. It matches what the FBI says. And then they rerun that in their own, because we see warrant, right? Hey, there's an outstanding warrant. We don't know if that's a violent warrant or non-violent. And so they'll pull it up. And then what's pretty incredible is like, most police officers work really hard. And so when you give them a powerful tool like this,
they're on it.
They get pretty excited. They're all over it. So that's like the number one use case.
Optical character recognition. And so what you're pointing out there, I think, if I can interpret for you, hey, maybe, you think this is a California plate, but it's got mud on it, or it's a 1 or an L and it's a dirty plate. Or you could have, I would think, fake plates as well. Or there could be bad data in the system. There's so many things that can go wrong. And the worst case scenario for you would be to misidentify mom coming home with her kids from pizza, and it's a stolen vehicle, and cops then, surround the vehicle and God forbid something bad were to happen. So you have to be very careful and say, we suspect this is a car. You should go do your diligence.
And that's what the ML team we have is like world caliber. And unlike a traditional use case where it's like, hey, if you're 85%, it's fine. We recognize the responsibility we've been given, which is when we say this is what it is, it's going to lead to an arrest. It's a 99.9% confidence interval.
If you don't have insurance, you failed one of the first steps of being an entrepreneur. And Embroker's technology saves you time and money. Prices are up to 20% lower with better coverage than the incumbents. And you can go from sign up to quote and purchase in just 10 minutes. When you work with Embroker, instead of business insurance incumbents, you're not dealing with these large, slow corporations, and sign up only takes days, not weeks. The process is transparent with no opaque pricing, and there are 4 crucial types of startup insurance that they cover and that you need. Cyber insurance. This is in case you get hacked. D&O insurance. This is for directors and officers. If somebody does something dumb and you get sued. Then there's E&O insurance. Some people haven't heard of this. Other people know it all too well. It's called errors and omissions, and it helps you scale your business because any major customer will want you to have errors and omission insurance when you close a deal. And finally, and sadly, EPL, employment practices liability. This covers harassment, wrongful termination, and more. If you are running a business and you hit any kind of scale, somebody is going to either do something stupid, or somebody is going to feel that they were wrongfully terminated. Even if they were terrible and you fired them with cause, they can go find an attorney to sue you. You need to have EPL. And you need to have all 4 of these types of insurance if you're going to become venture backable and you're going to build a robust business. To instantly buy custom-built insurance for startups, go to embroker.com/twist. 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 And use my offer code TWIST to get 10% off.